I just thought I'd pull a quick reading on Matt's Gate with all the various issues surrounding him at the moment, and just to see what the cards are going to say. It's very interesting what I pulled. The first card I got here, the influences are affecting the person at the moment. I've got here time. Now, what I pick up from this is that there's an elderly man who is probably investigating the whole situation, who has lots of other documents to release, but is just biding their time to expose more information with regards to this whole situation. What is actually crossing, which is very interesting, is the fact that we can see here a man possibly on his wedding night waiting for his bride to come to bed. But in the background, I think there are lots of issues that are now being uncovered, and there's more issues to be covered. And it looks as if he's worried as to whether or not his marriage is actually going to go ahead. It looks to me as if the bride is putting on a veil back on, and as though she's going to say, I'm not going to really bother going ahead, because there seems to be a lot of issues arising that could tarnish my reputation. We then have what's crowning him. Now, again, this is interesting. We can see here that he is hoping that his fortunes will turn when the news media dies down, when they stop focusing on the addictions and the gossip about the various women, and that people will be able to come together and start to debate an issue as to how they can turn this whole situation around. But what is actually beneath him? Well, we can see here the devil. Now, this is saying that there seems to be addiction, a lot of movement of underhanded transactions, lots of things that are hidden. And he's hoping that no light will be shone on them. But I think that people already know about these things, as we can see here from the gentleman sitting there with his big case with more information, and he's just really strategizing how that is going to be released. I think it could also be his dad. But I also think if you look a lot closer, this person seems to be wearing a mask. So, I wonder who the person is that's wearing a mask. So, when we then look at what the whole inquiry, what does he hope for under the circumstances? Well, might be a bit funny, but he might be going to a fortune teller to have a look at what the outcomes are going to be. He's probably speaking to somebody because he's really rattled by this, and he's not quite sure which way to turn. So he's not getting a lot of guidance or support. So he's obviously looking at the mystics. We then have here influence that are coming towards him. Now we can see here what he's being accused of. There he is drinking. There's a woman over there with the windows open. And I basically think this is saying that a lot more news and information has already escaped and is going to get out. And we can see here the headlines, the newspaper. So I think there's a lot more information on its way out with regards to this whole situation. I also pick up here that perhaps he was involved in a smear campaign against Democrats. He seems to have his hands in a lot of very, very shady pies, and it's almost as if karma's coming back to bite him in the bum. So, what are the things or his attitude about this whole thing at the moment? Well, he's devastated. He's putting on a brave face, but he's actually devastated. He can see the end of his career. He can see the end of his status. His parents are incredibly stressed about this whole thing. And I think his father is actually beside himself as to what to do and who to focus on to take care of. The information in the news is just coming in leaps and bounds. It's actually overwhelming, and you can't really stuff the bunny back in the hat. So, I think he is very worried himself, but he's hoping that his parents can help him, but they seem as if they're overwhelmed by the whole situation also. So we then have the environment, the position in life, and sort of the references. Well, here we can see this is the 11 of Chalice. And this is basically the news media, people sitting around, basically gossiping. And also, I think some of his enemies celebrating his downfall. I think also some people are discussing whether or not they're going to come forward with some more information and evidence as with regards to what he's been up to. His hopes and fears. Now, this is a wild card in this pack, and this is the black card. Now, his hopes are that a lot of the information and the things he's been doing will not be discovered. We can see here a lot of things have been screwed up and thrown away, but have they actually been thrown away? We also here have on the chair where a lot of backhanded deals. You can see that hand trying to punch through the chair, backhanded deals, and the sacks of money on the chair. Everything underhanded, nothing forthright. And I think a lot of this information is going to come forward. I think basically he's been stabbed in the back because he worked with a lot of shady people, did a lot of shady things, and when they got into trouble, he wasn't there for them. So now the big leak starts to destroy his reputation and his position. So what will the final result be? Well, I think that the young lady or young ladies is going to come forward. She has a picture in her hand, so I think she's going to come forward with some documented evidence. And she will be able to show the receipts of what this guy and other guys and probably a lot of other people who were in on it with him have been up to. And I think that when that happens, the game is going to be up.